How y'all doing today, my rosebuds? This is the very first episode of Tammy's Rose Garden. In this channel, I'm going to be doing commentaries on different videos, sharing my own opinion about events going on around the world. But yeah, I'll be talking about from the woke left to the extremely far right, which not much to say about them. So yes, I am in fact a transgender woman. I'm not going to tell you what my age is, because that's none of your business. I'm using a virtual avatar because I'm not happy with where my transition is currently at. Because I started transitioning about a year and 2 months ago is when I started my hormone replacement therapy. And I've been transitioning for the last 3 years. Most of it was this social transitioning. So yes, I am a independent. That's where my politics sit. Figured I'd get that out of the blue right now, so I don't have to worry about hearing anyone saying I'm MAGA, I'm woke, no. I'm just right there in the middle. I don't care. I really don't care what anyone else thinks about me at all. Which is where the mindset of most trans females need to be at. And stuff. So let's start off with making fun of the woke left with a question that none of them seem to be able to answer. What is a woman? Anyone in the crowd wants to answer? Oh yeah, just wait for me to answer it? Fine, I'll give you the answer. A woman is a person born with XX chromosomes who is capable of carrying children. That is what a woman is. We could get into the whole thing, what is a man, but no one seems to question that one now, are they? So with that answered, the next question is, what is a trans woman? Anybody in the group? A trans woman is a male who decides to transition, who is born with XY chromosomes, who decide to transition into becoming more like a female. I say more like a female because no matter how much we try, we will never be female. If there's any noise in the background, I do apologize in advance. My computer's a little loud due to, I really get my fans replaced my computer. They're making all types of noise. So, like I said, I started my transitioning about 3-4 years ago, give or take. Which I didn't just come straight out and tell because I'm currently married, I didn't just come out and tell my partner that I'm tired, that I don't want to be a male, I want to transition to a female. No, it's something I took time to talk with her about, slowly. That way she can process the information as we're talking instead of just being rapidly confused all at once with it just being dropped down on her. I did move my mic, so hopefully that helps out a little bit. But I do need like I'm getting a noise reduction mic. Yes, I do jumble up my words, and no, I'm not editing them out because it's just funny to listen to me. But yeah, let's get a famous YouTuber by the name of Blair White's opinion about this whole issue.
Can I just be real? I consider trans women to be a category of men, not a category of women. That is my opinion as a trans woman myself, so don't you dare tell me I can't have my opinion. Lord knows if I sat up here talking about I'm a demi girl that is poly and I also identify as a bookcase, everyone will be saying, oh my god, that's valid. But God forbid I say, you know what, I'm not really the same thing as a woman. And it's like, you can't say that. Okay, can I just...
Which is a bad point, is that when it comes to the woke left, You have to speak on their narrative. You cannot have your own opinion about nothing at all. Which I'll probably do a video about later. Because the fact of the matter is that we are a category of men. We started off as men to become more feminine, more female-like. It doesn't mean that we are instantly women. I don't care what anyone in the woke community has to say about it. Because the fact of the matter is that our transition is going to take us so far. Our chromosomes will never change, no matter how much we may think. We will never be able to carry children. We will never menstruate. We will never, ever be a woman. All we can do is just get as close as we can and be happy with the end results. Because after all, this isn't another thing from Blair White.
Detransitioning is just 1% of people who transition. What do you say to that?
I'd say it probably used to be. But when I started my transition, I actually looked into this. I was like, okay, so are there people that, and this was about a decade ago I transitioned. I said, are there people that regret this? It was very difficult to find any stories. Now you have thousands of kids. And of course, only a tiny fraction of people who really go through that are going to want to put their story out. So you can only assume it's like 10 times that. Because unfortunately, we have a crisis in this country with mental health professionals that would rather quickly, sign a thing and get you on pills, even though it may not be your problem. For me, I also experienced that. I experienced walking into a doctor's office and they gave me a prescription for estrogen and sort of a roadmap for future surgeries within 30 minutes max. And it was only by the luck of, a roll of a dice that this ended up being what was right for me personally on an individual level. But unfortunately, a lot of people are falling through the cracks, children and adults, a lot of autistic children.
Detransitioning is...
Which is true. 100%. Because back when 20 years ago, and stuff, detransitioners wasn't a thing. You never heard about them. You never seen them. You go on YouTube, you go on any social media platform, and you can find them screaming and yelling about the pain they had to endure because of their transition, because this is what they were told that they need to do. This is what they need to be. This is what they need to think. So yes. And it is pretty relevant when it comes to autistic children. Because the autistic mind does not think like a normal mind does. Yes, every trans woman has a mental disorder. It's called gender dysphoria. It is a mental disease. There is no doubt about that. Which is why trans women is no longer allowed in the military. Because if you have a mental disease, you cannot serve in the army. You cannot be part of the service. So let's go on to the next video here. Basically saying that basically it's talking about how your transgender journey could fail if you do this.
You start your transition for everyone else, so you can fit into society, so you can be able to live a normal life. You transition for yourself, but you start creating this persona for other people. You're now trying to fit into a mold of what is a female. When somebody tells you that you're not feminine enough, you try to be more feminine. You react to it. Don't allow people around you to make you feel that because you are transgender, you are unlovable.
Because if you're a transgender, you are lovable, you are acceptable. But if you dictate your entire transitional journey on what everybody wants you to do with it, on being the ideal woman, whatever, it's gonna fail. You're gonna fall right back into the cracks that brought you to this point to begin with. If you choose to transition, do it for yourself. Don't do it because other people want you to do it. Because people want you to be there. After all, it's your journey. It's not theirs. Follow your own path, not one that's laid out for you. So yes, this is actually a detransitioner video of a woman who's talking about well, the realities of life after she chose to transition.
Identified myself as transgender for years, and when I started to feel confused and ashamed about my developing body, I asked everyone in my life to call me by a new name and use male pronouns to refer to me. I went through a social transition from female to male. Everyone in my life immediately affirmed my new identity. The constant affirmation, both active and passive, solidified me in my transgender identity. No one meant to lock me into an identity that would later leave me broken, ashamed, and more confused than before. They were really all just being nice. But the social transition eventually wasn't enough, and I soon felt I needed to take testosterone. And when that wasn't enough, I had a double mastectomy. And when that still wasn't enough, I had a total hysterectomy, including the removal of my uterus, cervix, fallopian tubes, and both ovaries. There's no point of contentment during a gender transition. We get fleeting moments of euphoria, but ultimately one step leads straight into the next. And I thought that in the end I could really become a man, but all I became was a mutilated and abused version of my old self. Social transition is a big deal, and we're lying when we say that any of this is reversible.
Which is 100% true. It's not 100% reversible. Once you start to have body parts removed, they're gone. Once your breasts are gone, they're gone. Once a guy goes to get the bum surgery done, it's gone. Plain and simple. There is no getting this stuff back. Great. Someone sent me a message. Anyways, there is no getting any of this back once it's gone. Keep that in mind. So our next one, I'm going to drop the volume on this one here, because of the music. But anyways, basically, let's normalize trans bodies in 2025. I got a couple of these that I want to point out because these remind me so much of Dylan Mulvaney, who wanted to normalize the bulge. Most trans women is not on that bandwagon. We do not want to normalize nothing, especially when it comes to the bulge. I work hard every day to make sure mine's hidden. But this is just ridiculous. Yeah. No. You know what? There's ways of hiding it that's not quite as painful. There's special undergarments you can buy that can help you hide it successfully. But yeah, it's just a pattern of transgender women today. I'm telling you, I don't know what to say about them. So yeah, when it comes to women like this, within the trans community, I think they're quite beautiful personally. They have really good bodies. But then they want to go on the bandwagon of normalizing the bulge. No, that does not work. Keep it hidden, because if you want to be more feminine, females doesn't have a bulge down there. Keep that in mind. And when it comes to this one here, I think this here is worse than the last two personally. Let me know what you think down below. Buy a razor. Get electrolysis quickly. Because just look at this, reminds me of the old circus events I used to go to as a kid, where one of the sideshows was the bearded woman. That's what I think about when I see this. Because back then, a woman having a beard was considered to be a freak of nature. My opinion, still is today. Plain and simple. So yeah, yeah, that beard and mustache still do make you look like a boy. Plain and simple. Alright, so now I can unmute that. Okay. So the next one is a trans lesbian. I got my own opinion about trans lesbians. I'll get in that here in a second. Let's watch the video.
Being a trans lesbian is so annoying sometimes because I have no interest in men at all, but men will constantly tell me that I'm tricking them by not outing myself as trans to every single guy I meet. That sounds like more of a you problem. Being a trans lesbian is...
Sorry, I had to get a drink of water. Anyways, so yeah, when it comes to this one here, now your sexual preference is your decision, yours alone. If you're a guy, you're into other guys, that's fine. If you're a girl, you're into other girls, that's fine. If you're trans, then you're basically straight. If you're into women, there's no ands, ifs, or buts about it. But when it comes to outing yourself, no, I don't think you should have to walk around with a sign saying I'm a trans woman. If you're not interested, if guys aren't hitting on you, if you're not hitting on guys, then no, you shouldn't have to tell them nothing. But when it comes to your partners, when it comes to the people who you like, people who you decide to go on a date on, your family members, yes, those people, you do need to be 100% honest with them. What's this next video? Yeah, so we're gonna watch this next one, then I'm gonna finish that thought. It goes along with it.
Do you have any tips on coming out as trans? Unless you're a minor and need to tell your parents just so you can get hormone blockers, you don't owe anyone an explanation on anything. I went an entire year without telling my family that I was on hormones. When they did find out, did they have questions? Of course. I didn't go and write them a whole letter explaining all the history, all the motives, every little detail, because that would just give them even more questions in the end. It makes you happy, and that's all that mattered. Do you have any tips?
So, like I said, if you're dating somebody, when it comes to your family, be honest with them. Because your family's going to realize that there's changes in you regardless. Because that's what the hormone replacement does. It starts changing your body to conform with what you want. Yeah, granted, right now I'm not probably saying anything worth bragging about, but they're there. Therefore, I cannot walk around without a t-shirt on anymore. At all. And stuff. Because the fact of the matter is that people's gonna find out. Eventually. It's better to be front and honest with people from the beginning, especially when it comes to your loved ones, when it comes to people you're potentially going to date, when it comes to your closest friends. Just be honest with them about it. What do they do? Turn away from you? Ignore you? So yeah, I can't agree with some of these people when they go on rants like that. And can I agree with trans women or trans lesbians who doesn't come out to their partners right away? Because if I go out, because straight up, I am more into guys than I am into girls. So if I have a choice between a supermodel or an average Joe with a beard gut, guess what? I'm picking the average Joe. Because that's more or less what I'm interested in. And if I meet a cute guy and stuff, we get into the bedroom, and once his clothes come off and something's missing, I can't walk away because that's not what I want. And same thing when it comes to lesbians. Once you get in the bedroom, the clothes come off and they see something there that shouldn't be there. At that point, they feel like you deceived them, you lied to them, you used them, you manipulated them. But yeah, one of the biggest talking points here lately has been about the trans athletes and how it's unfair for normal women when it comes to them. Because the fact is that even before you start your hormone replacement therapy, as a male, you are stronger than a woman. Your average male is stronger than your average woman. I'm not saying that a woman can't work out, build up muscle mass, and build step against a average guy, because if the same average guy does the same thing, he'll still be stronger than a woman. But yeah, it's going through HRT, it does reduce a lot of your muscle tone, it does reduce your strength. I don't feel as strong as I used to be. And stuff. I can feel it every time I'm at work and I have to go and pick up something heavy. I can tell, I can feel it. But yeah, let's see what's going on with the whole category they made an attempt to do. Basically, it's a open binary category where anyone can list under. Let's see what happened with that.
World Cup has canceled its transgender category. I don't know who thought this was a good idea anyways, because no one even signed up. That's the insane part, is these biological men don't even want to compete against other men transitioning. They want to compete against women. As a compromise, after the backlash of Leah Thomas and Riley Gaines, they decided to create the transgender athlete category for the World Aquatics. But after registration closed, it was revealed that no one, not a single person, even signed up to compete in the category. Of course, the female athletes don't want to compete against the male athletes because there's obviously physical disadvantages for women, but the males who identify as females still want to compete in the women's category. They're going to attempt to try and reinstate this category at the Masters events, but I doubt they're going to have any success over there anyways. When are they just going to stand up for women and protect women's sports?
Which is 100% accurate there too, because the whole Riley Gaines and Leah Thompson issue and stuff. You had a biological male changing in front of biological women inside the locker room. They don't need to see, they're not there to see the male anatomy. They're not there to look at that and stuff. And there's a lot of women out there who doesn't want to see that in their personal spaces. When I decided to transition, I decided to follow a rule set. Number one, I will always respect women. That is a lesson that was beat into my head as a child. To always show respect to women. I'm not out here to make women feel uncomfortable. I'm out here just to try to live my life as my true self. And number two, I do not go into women's personal spaces. I will not go into a women's public restroom. I will not go into a women's locker room. Because I do not belong in those places. At the same time too, I don't feel like I belong in the men's spaces anymore neither. So yeah, that's kind of a problem there. So when it comes to trans rights, if there's any right I would fight for at all, give us our own space. Give us a gender neutral restroom, family restroom, in stores, gas stations. Give us a gender neutral locker room where if you're a trans man or trans woman, I don't really care about showering next to a trans man. That wouldn't bother me one bit. But all I want is just our own space. I don't want to invade anyone else's. I just want my own. Wrong button. Alright, what do we got next? Oh yeah, this was a Blair White short. This one here is really creepy and disturbing on its own. Let's just check it out.
I had a neighbor confront me for using the women's restroom. Everyone should know that I'm a trans woman. I've always been known as Kaylee. I've always used she, her pronouns. And I'm like, is there a problem? She's like, yeah, you're using the women's restroom. You're a man. And I said, I'm a trans woman. She's like, no, you're a man. And honestly, I just lost it. Just lost it and just started screaming and I just couldn't handle it.
Everyone should know I'm a trans woman.
Alright. I'm going to stop it there because I don't need Blair's opinion because I got my own. Now, when it comes to this individual, number one, shave. Get electrolysis. Maybe do something with your hair. Have your bangs help cover up your forehead a little bit. Guys have a bigger forehead than most women do. So yeah, veins can help out quite a bit when it comes to that. And stuff. Style your hair, put on some makeup, and be respectful. Because if this person would actually put some effort into their appearance, I think there'd been a lot less issues with that. Which goes on with what I said before, just give us our own space. To be honest with you, if I was a biological female and she walked in there, yeah, I'd be sounding the alarm myself, because that just looks extremely creepy. Alright, well, I was going to go into his other next two videos, but I'm already running low on time. So I'm probably just going to end the video right there. Next video, I probably will go a bit more into the other two, so to speak. I still got to design a channel logo and all that. So yeah, let me know down below what you seem to think about this. Am I right? Am I wrong? Please, just tell me. Because I would love to see people's opinion about all this. Is showing respect to women really that bad? Honestly? And is invading their sports really a good thing? Because I can tell you now, most of these trans athletes couldn't cut it in the men's division. That's why they insist on being a part of the women's division. Straight up. But yeah, leave a like, comment, subscribe, and give me a good subscribe. Ring that ding-a-ling, and let me know what you think about my video. Y'all take care. Love you all. Goodbye.